Hi guys, I'm coming at you today with a video about stress and specifically family stress. So for those of you who are going through issues in your family, it could be with your mother, your father, your grandparents, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your uncle. It could be anyone who is related to you, biologically related to you. Or even if you're adopted, they're just the person or the people that are in your life on a constant basis and you see them as family. So I know that being in a family, it can be a bitch, to be honest. It can be really hard and it can be really stressful, especially if you're someone who is sensitive or someone who feels the world on their shoulders and feels things very deeply and, right here. And what I want to talk about today is very specific, actually. It's family issues when you're someone who doesn't feel like they fit in with their family, or you feel like an outsider, or you feel very different from your family. So first of all, what I want to cover is the difference between you and your family. So this is the 21st century, right? And families are not like how they used to be. People don't sit around the table and eat their dinner every single day and have that family time dedicated to just socializing with your family. Most people these days, they just take their food and eat in their room. And there is none of that socialization going on, and there's none of that family integration going on. And with technology these days, family are likely to keep in contact through a phone or a computer rather than face to face. And a lot of the time when you're growing up, you follow the blueprint. You get a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you're working and you save up, you get a car, you move out, you do all that stuff. So imagine you can move far away from your family, or it doesn't even have to be far away. You can just move, a couple of hours or miles away from your family home. And a lot of the time you can be busy with work, with other commitments. Like if you have your own family, for example, if you're tendering to your own family, then, pardon me, the chances, especially with people these days, the chances are very likely that your own family are just going to fall by the wayside. And the reason I say the chances these days are very likely is because, like I said before, the importance of family and what it means to actually be in a family and, work together and integrate yourself into one and socialize and all that stuff, that is really gone out the window. So yeah, it's very different these days, and it's not like how it was back in the past. And yeah, so that's where the problem can really arise. And the main thing, before I go on a tangent here, because I know I'm kind of going in that direction, the main thing that I want to talk about is how to feel better when you're surrounded by people who make you feel like shit because you're different, because you're wanting to do a job that they don't agree with, you're in love with someone that they don't approve of, you're rocking a fashion sense that they think is weird, you're transgender, you're bi, you're gay, you're lesbian. You are just outside of their little box that they want to put you in. It can be hard enough when you're facing people in school, for example. But with family, you're in the same house as them, the same environment as them, and they are the people that you are related to, biologically related to. And there's almost this sense of you almost having to put up with them and get along with them. But I'm just here to say that that is not the case. Just because you are related to someone, you're biologically related, it does not mean shit. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with them putting you down, and it doesn't mean that you have to put up with them saying mean things to you, being selfish towards you, being disrespectful, calling you names, picking on you, and any negative things of that nature. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with any of that. And just because they are your family, it doesn't mean that you have to stay in contact with them if they are harming you in any sort of way. And it doesn't mean that you have to keep them in your life. Okay? if you are going through something with family and they're making you feel down, sad, depressed, angry, upset, and they're bringing up all of these negative emotions in you that you didn't see beforehand, like, let's just do it like this. So on this side, you're fine with everything in your life, and the one thing that you notice that kind of brings your mood down, and you know, it just puts you off of balance. Like, you might not notice it at first, but then if you really sit down and think, what is the one thing that is really getting in my way? What is the thing that is making me feel negative? And so you have this side, everything's fine on this side, right? And then you have this side. On this side, this is the thing that is getting in your way, and the thing that is causing you all of these negative emotions. And this is your family. These are the people that you are related to, yet you don't feel a connection with, yet you have disagreements with, yet you feel ashamed, you feel angry, you feel hurt, you may feel isolated as well. There is a quote that says, the loneliest feeling in the world is being in a room full of people and you still feel like you're alone, right? And that's the quote that I associate with being in a family where you feel different, or you feel isolated, you feel alone, and you feel like you don't fit in, for whatever reason it is. And let me just get to the point in this. So I talked about what it means to be in that sort of family and how things have changed over the years and how things aren't the way that they used to be. So in order to actually cope, that's the main point of this video, in order to cope with being in a situation and an environment like that, my tips for you guys would be to first of all center yourself and ask yourself, what is it that you want out of life? What is it that you came here to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your fears? Because that's another thing that you should know that about yourself. What are your fears? What are you scared of? What really makes you angry? What irks you? What are your pet peeves? Know all of that. Know all of those things about yourself, and ground yourself and center yourself, and know what you want. Like a straight line. Go in a straight line as to what it is that you want. And when you're clear, when you have clarity as to what you actually want out of a situation, that is when you can start to make actions and, you know, start to do things that will benefit you in getting what you want. Once you know what you want, you just have to say, how am I going to get what I want? So let's use the example of, I want to be in an environment that makes me happy, and I want to surround myself with people that make me happy. And being in this particular environment with family members makes me feel unhappy and insecure, and etc., etc. And what I want to do is get out of this environment. Okay, so that's what you want, right? And how to do it is to look at your situation from a bird's eye point of view. So you already know that it's your family that's causing these negative feelings and issues and dramas and petty things to arise. So I wouldn't say, like, cut them off instantly or cold turkey. I would only say that if it's a dire situation, if there is mental and or physical abuse going on, and if that's the case, then you really should contact someone about it and let them know what's going on. But I'm talking about put downs and being mean, selfish, rude, and etc. The most important thing in general, not just this situation, but the most important thing in life is to be able to cope well. So even though you want to get out of this situation, you may not be able to get out of it ASAP. So if you're not someone that has the money to support yourself to get out of the situation, or you don't know anyone that can put you up for a few months or even a few weeks, whatever it is, then you will have to learn coping mechanisms to cope with the people that put you down, and you will need to find your safe place. But let me just go back to coping mechanisms. So coping mechanisms are things such as being mindful about your thinking and the thoughts that enter your mind. And let's use this example. Someone negative in your life, let's say it's your mom, your brother, whatever. Your mom tells you that you are ugly, or that you are mean, selfish, and you're not a very nice person. And those things, especially from someone like your mother, they can really, really hurt, right? But just imagine you've experienced this time and time again. This isn't the first time that your mum has said this to you. She said this growing up since you were a very young child and all the way into adulthood. So these things are not new to you. So by this point, I would say a coping mechanism is to accept. Don't try to resist. Accept what is actually happening. Your mother is being very mean and hurtful to you, and you do not deserve that sort of treatment. So first coping mechanism is acceptance. Accept what is happening and what the situation really is. Don't try and make excuses with people. Don't try and say, oh, she's stressed out with work. She's sad that she hasn't got anyone to come home to. She's this, she's that. Don't make excuses for other people, because that doesn't really help you, okay? It doesn't help the situation at all. So accept things for how they are. And then the second coping mechanism would be to really, really question what that person is saying, question what your mum is saying. So she called you ugly, she called you mean and selfish, and she said that you're not a very nice person. Well, first of all, is that fact? I don't think it's fact. So separate the fact from the fiction, and you can find little reassurances in your life that tell you that, no, you're not ugly, you're not a mean person, you're not selfish, and you're not mean. For me personally, reassurances for me would be my boyfriend, my friends, my poetry, my writing, reading. Because when I'm writing and I'm reading, what I write and read are very sensitive and kind-natured things. That's what I would say. So if I'm reading things of that nature, that really tells a lot about a person, and that to me signifies that no, I am not mean, I am not selfish, and I'm not any of those things. That's just one example, but I hope you get the point I'm making. Another one about being ugly. I think beauty comes from the inside, but at the same time, let's just say your mum is calling you ugly, your face, your outside appearance. You got to believe that obviously you are not ugly. Your appearance is something that fades along with time, and true beauty is what comes from the inside. But if you are feeling a bit insecure about the way you look because of what your mum said, look for reassurances. Like, if you have a boyfriend, for example, your boyfriend really likes you, he loves you. If you're at that stage, he loves you, and he loves you for how you are. He obviously thinks you're beautiful, and you should find someone that really acknowledges your beauty inside and outside, and shows you and tells you how much they like you and appreciate you. You should find people like that, like regardless of what the relationship is, whether you're just friends or you're more than friends. I reckon that's how good and supportive people and healthy people in your life should be. They should be encouraging, positive, and all of that good stuff. So if you have a boyfriend, you could find reassurance from him. If you have a best friend, if you have close friends, or even if you have a teacher or someone that you work with, anyone, and look at their behavior towards you, or even just ask them or tell them what's going on. Just open up and be like, my mom said this to me, and she's told me that I'm ugly and that, and it blah blah blah, and it made me feel really hurtful. And I guarantee you they will reassure you and let you know the truth, that you are not ugly, you are not mean, you are not selfish, and you are not etc etc etc. Some people, they, like in this situation, just saying, like pretending it's your mum. Your mum may just be very hurt from her life and what went on in the past. And this is not an excuse. This is not a reason as to why she should behave a certain way to you. But I'm saying, like, from a psychological point of view, the reason why some people act in a certain manner towards someone else, like in a negative way, is because they've been through shit themselves. And all of that shit is really rubbed off on them and taken their toll. And then in turn, they became a very unhealthy person. And they bring other people down in order to make themselves feel better, or in order to make themselves feel powerful or in control, or, some sort of achievement is at the end of what they're doing, even though it doesn't, it's not right. It doesn't really make sense. But from a psychological point of view, I would say that's definitely what it is. And also understanding that, I would say it's very helpful when you understand the logical side of things and the rational side of things. Like, rather than being caught up in your emotions, and when you separate the two, you can be like, this person is treating me this way because of this X, Y, Z, and it's nothing to do with me, it's all to do with them. Because that's how it works. When someone is mean to someone else, they are basically, you know, reflecting how they treat themselves or how they view themselves, or, you know, just kind of pushing what experiences they faced in the past and relaying them back to the other person. And most people, most unhealthy people, right, they don't realize that they're doing this. But when you realize that, it's like a breath of fresh air. And it's amazing when you finally realize and understand and feel it in every fiber of your being that it is everything to do with that person right there who is being mean to me, and it's nothing to do with me. So that would be another coping mechanism. And one more coping mechanism, because this video is getting longer than I expected it to be. I only expected it to be a very short one, a very quick one, but you know how it is. Very last coping mechanism I'm going to share today is to find your safe place, your safe people, the places, people and things that make you feel happy and positive. So while you're being mindful and you've identified what it is that you want out of the situation, what it is that you came here to do, and you know what will make you satisfied, what will make you happy, and etc, etc. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say that the number one thing that we have found out is that you want to get out of the environment that you're in, the unhealthy environment that you're in, and you think of a strategy as to how to do that. But most people who are watching this video, they do not work in a job that offers them the right amount of money so they can save up. So it takes time to save up, or you might not be working, you might be in school. So I would suggest find other ways, find a friend, find someone who you can trust, who can help you. And I know in the UK there are plenty of services for homeless people in London, because that's where I am. So homelessness it's not often what you think. It could be sofa surfing as well as sleeping out on the streets. So I would suggest look into those services and see what you can find. Especially in London, there are a lot of them who help out homeless people, especially young homeless people. So if you're aged, say, 16 to 25, you're in the perfect sort of age range to get help from these services. So yeah, you might not be in a position to get somewhere for yourself. So that's where the coping mechanisms come in. And we discussed 2 or 3 coping mechanisms. And the last one we're going to discuss is to find your safe place and your people. And like I said before, your people are the people that you can relate to, people that understand you, who are able to encourage you and make you see yourself for how you really are, make you see the positive aspects of yourself and actually be there for you when you need them, like not just in the good times but also in the bad times too. That is what I would call a friend, and that is what I would call someone who deserves to be in your life. Only those sort of people who bring you up and uplift you deserve to be in your life. Anyone else, they can just move on. You do not need them in your life. So find your people and find your safe place away from home. Now, say if there is an argument going on, or you're caught in between some family drama or tension and you really, really want to get away, but there's no place in the house where you can go. So you want to get out of the house. You want to find a coffee shop. You want to find a cafe. You can even go to a fast food restaurant, literally McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, whatever. And pardon me, your safe place is basically anywhere that you feel you can chill, relax, and kind of just bring yourself down from whatever was going on at home or whatever's going on in your mind. If you're suffering from an anxiety attack due to the environment that you're living in, or you're suffering from depression, you really do need a safe place. So it could be anything. Like I said, it could be a restaurant, a cafe, fast food place, coffee shop. You could go to the park, you could go to a forest sort of area. You could even take a bus ride. You could take a car ride if you drive. You could just go to a friend's house. You can go outside and read a book. You can just take a walk, take a long walk. You can go hiking, you can go jogging outside, anything that keeps you active and, you know, something that's proactive to the way you're feeling. Because you don't just want to sit there in a slumber and be like, woe is me, why am I feeling this, I don't deserve this, and blah blah blah. What you want to do is take action and be proactive, and, you know, just don't wallow in self-pity. Because I guarantee you, I don't recommend comparing yourself to people and being like, oh, but she has that, she's this. But it is a reality that if you're going through something that's really bad, there are people who are going through the same thing, the exact same thing as you, so you're not alone. But as well as saying that there are people who are going through worse, so it's great to be grateful that you're, you know, that you don't have it worse. Because everyone's journey is different and everyone's path is different. So you are on your path and they are on their path. So what I found that helped me is just realizing that I have my own path and my own unique journey to follow. So there's no point in me comparing myself to other people. No point in me looking at other people's situations and, you know, sizing them up. You know, I have to work on my path and my situations and, you know, have this experience that is mine alone. No one else's. And, you know, you just have to own it. If you're going through something, just believe that there is a light at the end of the tunnel and that you will make it and that everything will get better with time. It just takes time and it takes perseverance, okay? So that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and if you have any other topic suggestions that you would like me to cover, feel free to leave them in the comments box below, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video.